Morning, Patrick. Another Category 1 winner, and one that you talked up right at the start of the competition as you thought was good enough. Superb run last night.
Yeah, he's a very good dog. This one, he's got good early, but his back straight pace and coming home was phenomenal. He only had 4 races in his life, won all 4, and his last 2 had to come off the pace. And when dogs showed that sort of determination and the will to win, and like last night, it didn't go all his way, but no, he's got a very bright future, and we're gonna go for the derby now. He probably has one more trial, and then he goes straight into derby. But no, he's a great prospect.
He showed tremendous balance because when he went around those first 2 bends, it would have been so easily for him to have been touched off and found himself away and gone. But he stuck with it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And what happened is he sort of has he's a big dog, but he's a very well balanced dog, very well balanced, for a big dog. And the way he does it all the time, when he comes off that second bend, he is such a big striding dog, and he hits that third bend and he goes so quick, and he drives it very well, and he stays so strong as well, So even if things don't go his way, when he goes in a derby, he still should be able to qualify, from the back.
Yeah, I was going to say that I've seen 1 or 2 dogs now, genuine wide runners, and there were a couple in the trial stakes last week, and of course, including the track record last week. So that wide runners really can run that track, can't they? I mean, they can show they can power around the outside.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. I think if I'm, like Priceless Rebel, he's a very fast dog. He's more like sort of a 5'7", 600 yard dog than really a 5'2", 5 dog, isn't he?
Yeah.
Probably my dog is probably very similar. There's like Mark's dog seems to be running very well there. The Drumco Brent dog, when he goes somewhere else, he sort of struggles a bit, but when he goes there, he's a much better dog. And I think them very strong running dogs will suit Toaster much better than probably anywhere else.
Yeah, I guess we're quite often guilty on these occasions of talking to the trainer and not the owner. Can we just tell me a little bit about him?
The owner, yeah, it's Keith Alsop and Mark Harrison.
I saw Keith was there last night, wasn't he?
Yeah,
But I know Keith, but I don't know Mark Harrison.
yeah, Mark Harrison is new in the game. He works with Keith. Keith rang me a couple of months ago, and he wanted to come back in the dogs and have a dog and everything. And he says, if you see anything, let me know. And I never really saw anything. Then I saw this dog running in the Scotty. And I rang Keith. I saw this dog. I told him how much he was, and he said to me, "Yeah, I'll have him." He said, "The only thing that worries me is that he's big." I says, "But in Scotty is very difficult to run. I've been there a few times myself, and the balance around the bends. What the dog did, he's got to run. He's got to have very good balance, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to run in the Scotty." So he says, "Yeah," and the dog come over, and we took him to Toaster. And I remember when Luke took him first time trials, and he had a 3 dog trial, and he rang me. He says, with his Irish accent, he says, "Jesus, this is some dog."
Yeah.
That's what he said, and the rest is history, really. He's every time he goes, he's such a wonderful dog, and fingers crossed.
So literally, what you'll give him a fresh now and then before the derby starts.
Yeah, he needs what he needs to. We can't leave him now to the first round. That's too long. We give him another trial or something, and then he just goes in the derby. And I know by the time, if we'll be so lucky to get to the final, I know he's been 13 times around that track by then, but I don't think he's the sort of dog who would make any difference even if you run 20 times around the same track, because he's got that bit between his teeth that he wants to win, and you can see that last night. That's his 7th time around the track, and I thought he was absolutely superb. And it was when you look at the class he's running against, listen, the 5 dog is 28.40 Limerick. The 2 dog looks a very good dog from, the 1 dog stays very strong. They're all very good dogs, and then really he absolutely down the back straight, he absolutely run away from them.
Yeah, and you look at some of the other that were in it in the competition, including like Rab's dog, who broke the clock at the end. The competition itself holds up. It's not as though you've beaten rubbish, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't. And I think the dog has such a bright future. Not only for the Derby, but I can't wait to really take him to dog tracks like Hove and the Central Park's 500 meters and all tracks like that. I think he's listen. We won a maiden Derby. He won it in great style. We're all over the moon. Keith is over the moon. And let's hope we have a bit of luck in that Derby. But I think he has a bright future, even if it don't happen in the Derby.
One last thing, we were talking just before we started to record. There was a fantastic atmosphere, considering there was hardly anybody in the place, social distancing and everyone had to behave. There was definitely a feel of the old toaster there, wasn't there, last night?
There was. You must give a lot of credit to Toaster, really. The way, and Kevin Boothby, and he stuck his neck out, took that place on. COVID comes, everything goes pear shaped, really, for the man. And it's such a great buzz to be there and to be involved. And they put all these races on. They go out their way. When you ask for a trial, nothing is a problem. There's such a big help to trainers. When they try to help everyone. Not just me or bigger trainers or whatever you want to call them, but they try to help everyone. They try to put them in the right races and everything, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. Not knocking it at all.
No, I think I think that the other side to it, of course, is that the Irish clearly have taken a liking to the new circuit as well. So this could be an amazing derby, couldn't it?
I think so, and I think it's if I'm honest, I know Graham's dog run very well, the native Maestro dog, but I still think listen. I think there's at least 10 dogs who can win it, at least probably more, because there's a lot of dogs who can do 29-20 around there, and if you can do around that mark, you know what I mean. I think you can win it, and listen, with our dog done last night, if you wouldn't have got that bump, but there's always if you know what I mean. So
dog racing,
there's dog racing, but I think there's a lot of good dogs in it. It's very competitive. I think it's a level playing field from rails to wide. I think if I'm honest, there's probably better dogs on than on the rails.
Yes.
The class, and but now I think it's going to be a very good derby, and I can't wait for it to start.